Right on abuse, completing the reporting process with Ghana's DOVVSU police Cyan Rami Neely, follow 3 minutes read November 23, 2022 118 and February 2018. I abruptly left Ghana, the land that had for 8 years been my home. Many did not know the reasons for my departure, and why I stayed away. After nearly 5 years, I returned to Ghana in October and November 2022 to officially complete the filing of an evidenced report with DOVVSU Police Domestic Violence and Victim Support Unit. This report focuses on the multi-tiered abuse, physical and emotional violence, kidnapping, and cyberbullying that I experienced during my 10-year intimate partner relationship with Mansour Ikwe. I began this process in January 2018, but left it unfinished due to the sudden death of my father, which required I leave the USA. Return to Ghana following my father's burial was not feasible due to intermittent periods of intense intimidation and harassment I experienced from Mance, particularly between January-June 2018. This volatility made my continued living and working in Ghana a very strained and difficult endeavor. Therefore, I made the decision to stay in the US with my family where I felt safe and protected. It has taken me years to find the courage to return to Ghana and finally complete this process with the DOVVSU police. I have suffered from paralyzing fear, anxiety, depression, and devastation over this long-term abusive relationship. Since leaving Ghana, I have been intensive about my own healing, slowly but surely moving towards spaces of safety, hope, love, and renewal. Due to the actual violence and threats Mance visited upon me, as well as multiple artists and activists within the Ghana community, I completed this reporting process without informing a majority of my loved ones that I was back in Accra, to ensure my personal security, and that the process would not be thwarted in any way meant that my movements were extremely restricted and information was shared only with those persons essential to the process. It is my desire to now be able to move about freely any time I am in Ghana without fearing for my life. I am beyond grateful to my family, friends, and supporters, far and wide, who have patiently and fiercely stood with me as I grappled with this debilitating trauma over the years. I could not have gathered the strength and determination to complete this process without their unconditional love and encouragement. I am eager to close this heavy chapter of my life and move towards a future that is protected from violence and full of freedom, joy, and well-being. Right, speaking my truth. Cyan Rami Neely, follow 5 minutes read September 3, 2019 491. A statement by Dr. Cyan Rami Neely. I am co-founder of Accra.alt, ADA, and I was co-director of the Chale Wote Street Art Festival from 2011 to 2017 in Ghana, West Africa. Over the course of August 2019, multiple artists and activists in Ghana have been targeted and harassed by alleged police officers ostensibly investigating claims of cyber harassment. This investigation is occurring, so the alleged police have told those being investigated at the charge of Mansour Ikwe, my former romantic and life partner, as well as co-founder of Accra.alt and now the sole director of the Chale Wote Street Art Festival, who maintains that he has not abused me ever in any way during the course of our relationship. This harassment is quite disheartening since many of these artists and activists have made critical contributions to not only the evolution of Accra.alt, but as participants in the Chale Wote Street Art Festival. This goes against the very integrity, vision, and values of the festival, a festival that is now drawing 50,000 people to Ghana each year but continues to splinter a deeply divided artistic community in Accra. Therefore, it has become imperative that I speak my truth. I'm the only person who can tell my story. I hereby state that during the course of a decade-long relationship with Mansour Ikwe, I experienced multiple instances of violence, terror, intimidation, and coercion. Specifically on the night of December 29, 2017, for more than 3 hours I was held hostage in our shared flat, physically and emotionally tortured, and coerced into audio recording false statements while my life was being threatened with 2 weapons. Mance had accused me of having affairs with multiple men, which I vehemently denied. After assaulting me, he forced me to record false statements about these innocent persons, persistently stopping in between recordings to threaten to kill me if I did not speak. At a later time, these multiple recordings were edited into 2 files that removed any other threatening expressions by Mance. He then shared these files with a number of persons in Ghana, as well as various members of my family and close friends in the US. This was in an effort to discredit me and the abuse he enacted upon me. I share these intimate details now in case the false recording is now released in further effort to discredit the statement. Following this incident, I stayed with 2 different sister friends and their families while attempting to process what had happened to me. I also began going through a justice process with the Domestic Violence and Victim Support Unit in Ghana, DOVVSU, but was unable to finish reporting partly due to the fact that I felt this process lacked confidentiality. On top of this, the sudden death of my father in the US then required me to leave suddenly. Unfortunately, a justice process can only be completed within Ghana and not internationally. After the December 29th incident and my return to the US, I continued to receive harassment from Mansour Ikwe via email and phone for 6 months. He also sent unwanted communications to members of my family and close friends via email, phone calls, and social media. This violent incident was the cornerstone of my decision to leave my position with Accra.alt and the festival, and played a key role in my departure from Ghana upon the passing of my father. While in the process of healing from this ordeal, I have felt great insecurity about not only returning to Ghana but also about speaking out publicly about what I have endured over this experience. In addition, this process has been made more difficult by the circulation of articles by an anonymous writer going by the pen name of Targaryen Tyrion Nutho, who has circulated what they believe to be the story of this experience, and added a range of allegations against multiple people they consider to have not spoken up. Unfortunately, much of their information is not correct, and is also leading to a sense that no activists or artists have stood by me in the process of justice and healing, which is not true. This journey has been extremely traumatic and difficult to process. I helped carry Accra.alt and Chale Wote from birth to being for nearly a decade. My reticence to share my story is not only tied to an ongoing anxiety over the violence and harassment I experienced, but also the incredible amount of time, labor, imagination, and resources I poured into Accra.alt. Chale Wote is also the result of the invaluable efforts of the ADA team, Jamestown community, Ghana-based and international artists, and festival partners. Therefore, it is not easy to reveal this devastating truth, because I've always wanted the festival to grow and flourish even if I could no longer be a part of it. However, I can no longer be silent while Ghana-based artists and activists and international artists invited to the festival are being terrorized and intimidated in the same ways I have intimately experienced. For speaking truth against violence and abuse, it is not my nature to make up facts. For many reasons, I do not intend to get into a war of words about those events or the renditions of others about those events. Doing so could only make matters worse. I stand by the statements I have made, and my family, friends, and professional colleagues know that I am truthful. With this, it is my hope to shed truth and light on my departure from Ghana and from my leadership of Accra.alt, and to express my hope for the security, freedom, and wellness of the artists and activists now being targeted unjustly over the last few weeks. As the healing process is still ongoing, I appeal to those reading this to please respect my privacy. Thank you. Follow up, read the joint statement from members and friends of Ghana's art community released on September 9, 2019. Ghana Chale Wote Accra.alt Artists Violence Against Women 491, written by Cyan Rami Neely.
Joint statement from members and friends of Ghana's arts community. This is a joint statement from artists, activists, and sympathizers in Ghana's arts community, following the official statement made by Dr. Cyan Rami Neely on September 3, 2019, entitled Speaking My Truth, https://bit.ly/2LZIG, as well as the continued interrogation of members of Ghana's arts community by the police in relation to allegations made by Mr. Mansour Ikwe, co-founder of Accra.alt. We, the undersigned, wish to 1. Condemn all forms of abuse in the arts community and declare our collective support for Dr. Neely. 2. Demand that Mr. Mansour Ikwe takes immediate action to cease the baseless interrogations and harassment that infringe our fundamental rights and threaten to cause further division and discord in Ghana's arts community. 3. State the need for unity in our community both here and abroad, a unity supported by structured processes and an agreed code of conduct ensuring justice at institutional and individual levels. We wish to emphasize the importance of allowing survivors to tell their own stories in their own time, knowing that while we collectively appreciate the historical role of anonymity and speaking truth to power, this role must be balanced with the understanding that where anonymity is not used to share one's own story, it can put survivors and those around them in the line of risk or harm. Even following Dr. Neely's official statement, members of the arts community continue to be called in for questioning and remain targets for intimidation, harassment, or worse. This is unacceptable, and we call on Mr. Ikwe to do what is necessary and respectful by responding to the allegations of physical and emotional abuse laid against him, committing himself to all the processes necessary to resolve this matter into the same glare of truth that he expects to shine on other members of our community. This is not a witch hunt aimed at destroying Chale Wodo or Accra.lt. We are simply calling for Mr. Ikwe's accountability and decency in addressing this matter. In the event that Mr. Ikwe chooses not to respond, we will exercise our right to collectively boycott events that he is involved with. We will also serve notice to all individuals and associations that choose to continue to work with him in light of this situation, reminding them that while they have the right to their own choices, the responsibility arising from those choices will lie with them. As a community, we are committed to creating genuinely safe spaces within which no one should ever experience abuse. We are particularly attentive to women artists in the community who navigate violence on a daily basis. But as artists, we strive to be at the forefront of radical social transformation, which includes the dismantling of all structural violence and exploitation within the arts community. We acknowledge the fact that procedures and structures have not been in place until now to enable members of our community to report or seek redress. We hereby commit ourselves to working towards remedying this and establishing such procedures and structures in unison with our fellow members of the creative arts community. Undersigned. Kabina Nkamagraham Ejua Omoa El Anonria Boss Molifa Daglo Alcosian, Hansen Mame A. Marfa Rita Kedia Namita Sirmomaga Musith, Elizabeth Sutherland, Hardy Yakubu, Ernesto Yebo, Jojo Abad Abena Elmobi Masa Bologun, Bernard Aqua Jackson, Lako Oma Asintua Daika Emmanuel Wusubansu, One Love Edwin Zabo. Justice Okel Abduruni Cody Nikoi, Alma Van Danzig, Akanaya Minsa Annalisa, Shebu Eric Jaffe, Nana Kwasi, Osi Ogiamon Hansen, Academy Mame, Prempet Podic Pranks. Summit Bohan, Dean, Hutton Kamla Minsa Martin Williams, Della Kumahar, Nana Ose Quadro, Michelle Yabo Nana, Afua Malaka, Grant Lydia Forson. Vanessa Midi Lily Osita Jiub Eugenia Pong, Ampadu Kaiki Iku. Hoa Adam Kuaku, a Manful Crystal Teddy, Karen Ikado Day Jeffrey, Kazaninka, Liso Monahang. Zane, Ajema Lady J. Rodney, Corco, Amazing Grace L. Danso Jason, Nicoenin, Kofi Keys, Asihin, Alfred Ted, and Noel, Elikam Nicodemus, MRS Saint, Barbara Deborah Chief Movement. Jessica Hagan, Nana Echo, Aubrey Brown, Dada, Awfully Quay, Mensacino, Sante, Desire, Clark, William, Du, Bakumi, Didi, Sutherland, Addy, and Mode. Yvette Teddy Quabin, Najair Uboni, Nayako Fatima, Derby, Michael, Osea, Sibi, Rodder, Kaduro, Shelley, Unayako, Sele, CHM, Sheila, Wells, Darty, Arai. QC Mame, TW, Ose, Kwame, Sel, Kafika, Alina, Visa, Marty, Armor, Dorothy, Lovia Hammond, Adama, Ajman, Ariel, Armand, with Whining, Keisha, Ganangro. Cromenting, Leslie Bento, Natalia Gormalova, Eugenia, Baffa, Rafaela, Roxanne, Cordias, Siren, Rami, Neely, Asatalama, Kelvin, Hazel, Helen, Appia, Misfu. Samira, Sadie, Pio, Quisi, Rosalind, Mo Jamil, Abdullah, Emilia, Sidu, Eli, Ted, Latifa, Idris, Alar, Alcusia, Afia, Kaya, Wusuna, Takai, Jessica Horn. Daniel Cena, Fadu Danful Daniel, also Crofi, Nana, K, Ose, Shelley, Onayako, Sherry, and Kamagram. Hasford, Edo, Kwamina, Odanum, Kanduro, Darling, Kamukame, Ismin, Helwani, Mash, Kajo. Jessica Boyfio, Nana Kofi Shells, Nelly Ajoa, Arma, APR, Seer Mashun, Abby, Eni, Taki, Kimpi, The Machine, Bright, Aqua, Matumbo, Selor, Matikpo. Mame Ajo, Marfo, Mayatu, Banya, Nana, Ama, Ea Sante, Eni, Dukwi, Corcapone, Corbina, Owusu, Subramanium, Kaba Biggs, Yasmadras, Jermaine, Bomba, Delily, Quarshi, Christine, Bowen, and Inerty. Nana Benaya, Nana Kojo, Maimuna Jalo, Bashai Ho Kwame, Ose, Pamela, Onaya Koya, Aduya, Dinantwi, Elizabeth, Nana, Ya Aram, Nongo, Beatrice Dasa. Francis Geranu, Baby Lion, Burima Kojo, Elduro, Alcornor Pauline, Kiranchi Samuel, Wusiansa, MR, Marte, Afidi Yoram, Chukli, Natalie, Tan Annabella, or Fra Boading. Yvette, Shia, Gma Comfort, Arthur Seaton, Nicholas Marilyn, Ose, Eldred, Destined, Gabriella, Roxanti, MSK, DJ, Robin, Riskin, Ronnie, the Damon, Vanessa Peterson. Mirabelle, N.A. William, Eyal, Sarah, Sarful, Silvernus, Darku, Christina, Ecosia, Aleluya, Acrofi, S.A. Dabla, Arba, Arthur. N.A. Corley, Aaron, Cordy, Patrick, Buwang, Ibrahim, Muhammad, Galilia, Isa, Hassan, Raja, Rosiansa, Galilia, Ajo, Kisser, Emi Yamek, Shana Badu. Richard Owen, Sika, Kofi, Corley, Kirika, Chasida, Marianne, Kamara, Michael, Nula, Mensa, Francis, Boya, Benabinua, Fosu, Albert, Ni, Nordy, Dowan, Adoa, K. Pentora, Sharon, Benzoni. Equa and DJ Cass, Gerald, Saki, Alehu, Ashung, April, Bekabuki, Ekawumi, Barima, Efa, Kofi, Bochi, Ansafas, and Munisir, Victoria, Ohoye. Eunice, Aj, Lizzie, Benaramisa, Mekobina, Parte, Thomas, Kojo, Alakoy. Appy, Nancy, Ekenbaum, by Sheriff, Isaac, Kisas, Oma, Binua, Toya, Jamel, Buhari, Madara. Abdul Satter Candace Turner Kofi Owusu Jeremiah Anthony Benjamin Sam Enoch Robot Boy Appia Jr. Kuka Kwakanair Kopatala Matthew Joseph Anderson Brigatipia Stephen D. Ku Charlotte Brathwaite Asma Susan Yvonne Billy Morris Essenham Dameli Stephen Adolfo Kissy Benjamin Edjedere Ekanti Nana Amoa Kason David Naneo Pokuansa Fazal Ahmed Mudassir Nino Nordy Adam Lancashire Brown E.C. Sutherland Daddy Barber and Tumi Valerie Lobby Rez Cobbs Asubantang Ajay Lalo Basoko Richard Kofi Andrea Hafer Kristen Adele Calhoun Viola Lobby Mirabelle Daisy Jasi Fui Sikita Mohammed Ni Kali Richard Odin Cancer Maxwell Kojo Zonu Joel Orleans Kester Ose Minsa Vincent Arthur Selim Kaji Echo Bars Victoria Esidu Kwaku Sunny Corey Oliver Rhyme Sunny Akusia Tiwa Quarantine Dana Richard Paul Forgel Jr. aka 100% Tassa Desbailey Abani Dado Gian Amina Cassin Yoaka Stanley Hoffman Festus Elmo Quacko Elmo Corbina from Ponga Moko Nana Kofi Aqua Alma Josephine Bush Kenneth Brown Natty Audley Edgeo Fofi Adelaide Damo Nut Bush at Anu Do Erai Luko Bukari Yaganoma Bachu Kukwofi Eshima Alvin Eshidi Danso Owoa Santi Robert Owusu Sheila Chukulosi Katerina Niklaus Barbara Kairiko Gerald Dang Neely Leonard Kelly Nana Michelle Commander Almas Hassan Ivana Akatawa Fori Jules David Barkowski Nas DJ Nana Kwame Sekai Owusu Yachin Sefaka Haho Boatin Puerta Femkatai Nana Amapi Irene Donati Aula Nichiku Sarah Masong Dexi Aliset Adelaide Violet Cresia Makwasi Ruth Simbeo Kwame Akado Bamfo Trisha Boheen Ada Betty Vandy Edwin Kwesi Bajo ni Amasa Bifeo.
We are not in our old location. We have relocated to Osu from the Independence Square all the way into the Osu Township. So we are talking about the Agric Extension building where the High Court complex is, all the way down into the Independence Square, into the Osu Castle, into the Osu community, all the way down to Oxford Street, and all up to the Osu Cemetery.
One Love the Cubular ordered to pay GH's 55,000 to Chalwote CEO in defamation case. Co-founder and director of Chalwote Street Art Project, Mansay Eriikwe, has won a defamation suit against One Love the Cubular. In 2019, One Love the Cubular accused Mansay Eriikwe of being a sexual predator and physical abuser in a tweet. Mansay Melvin Ni Eriikwe, founder of Accra, Alt, Sabolai Radio Music Festival, Chalwote Street Art Festival, and Red Cat Pictures, is a woman beater, abuser, and sexual predator. He chose the wrong person to intimidate, One Love tweeted at the time. Mansay Eriikwe responded to One Love's accusations by filing a defamation lawsuit against him, which he has won. According to the court's decision, One Love was unable to prove his claims, and he appeared to be naive and did not exercise the best judgment. He appeared to have let his celebrity status cloud his judgment on the occasion. Mansay Eriikwe's attorneys sought GH's 1,000,000.00 in damages, but the court only awarded them GH's 50,000.00 due to high cost of living. I think the defendant, even though liable to pay damages, must not be destroyed with punitive damages of that colossal amount that can destroy his talent in the arts community. As a result, and way of go and sin no more. I shall award by way of general damages a compensatory sum of GH's 50,000.00 against the defendant in favor of the plaintiff, the court said as part of its judgment. I would award cost of GH's 5,000.00 in favor of the plaintiff, the court added. Juan Love was also given a perpetual injunction restraining order, his assigns, agents, privies whatsoever and howsoever described from any further publication of the said libelous and defamatory statement or any similar words or statements of the defamatory of the plaintiff. Mansay Ariikwe was represented by Eugene Ablade Oninku, ESQ, and James Anyaya, ESQ, while William Newman ESQ represented Juan Love the Cubular.